You're recording?
Yeah, rolling and going.
Hello, we are Press To MECO, and you're listening to Southeast Rec Metal.
Yeah.
Hello, we are Press To MECO, and we are Southeast Rec Metal. Do you want one more? Hello, we are Press To MECO, and this is Southeast Rec Metal.
One, two. Okay, there's people up in the balcony who can get in on this last one. People at the back, people at the bar. Here we go. One, two, three.
Press To MECO, welcome to Finland, first time ever.
Yeah! Thank you! Thank you, Finland!
You just finished your first show. How was it?
Yeah, it was really good. Very nice crowd. Everyone's been so nice today anyway. I think we'll have to come back.
You come from UK, London, is it right?
Indeed, yes. South London. Yeah.
Croydon.
Croydon, indeed. And the boys are from Crawley. If you've ever flown into Gatwick Airport, that's basically where the boys live.
Tell us a little history about your band.
We started in like 2012? 2011?
Yeah.
Oh, 2010.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
2010.
We started then, we weren't very good, and 8 years later, we're semi alright. Now we're better.
You've been recording a couple of albums and one EP, is it right?
Yes, yeah, we recorded one album back in
2000. We recorded it in 2014, and that came out in 2015. And then our latest record, Here's the Fatigue, came out in 2018. It was this year.
It was March.
Oh,
yeah.
It's crazy. It feels like years ago because we recorded it in the very end of 2016. But even coming out this year, that feels like last year already. But
We went to Austin, Texas to record it with a guy called Machine. He's a very good producer. He's done Lamb of God.
Every Time I Die.
Every Time I Die.
Clutch, Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, so it was great. He's a great guy. And yeah, we made something we're very proud of.
You have had some nominations on also. Was it that not
Yeah,
this?
it was on Good Intent. We got nominated for Album of the Year, I think it was, with the AIM Awards, which it meant a lot to us because that's kind of like the sort of prestigious unsigned kind of, well, not unsigned but not kind of like major label backed album awards. So you know we were in the same category as like Radiohead and Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes and Skepta, which the Croydon roots were happy about. And yeah, no, it's extremely humbling because we weren't expecting that at all. But it's nice to go and get some nice food and watch some people accept awards.
Move through the world, trip into your bloody hands to close the day. Thread the needle, fight the pain. My song remains stuck on repeat. A low-level hum of anxiety all around that singing out of tune. It's nothing new. Close your eyes. What a lovely day. What a lovely day.
Your music has been described as, progressive punk or hardcore. How would you describe it yourself?
I think progressive punk is quite a good shout. It falls under that alternative rock umbrella, which is quite broad. But I think we'll always be a band where someone will be like, oh, a bit of that mixed with a bit of that, or a bit of Biffy mixed with a bit of, who would you say?
ABBA. Oh, yeah. One Direction meets Meshuggah was something like when the first EP came out, someone said we sound like One Direction singing over Meshuggah. It's a little bit more metal back then, yeah.
I think we've been influenced by a lot of bands, but not necessarily in a way of how we wanted to model the band. It will be more like there are certain songs which have a bit more of a certain band's type of vibe, or certain sections which has a certain band's type of vibe. But yeah, I mean, some of the more recent influences of bands like Manchester Orchestra, a UK band called Everything. They don't sound anything like us, but it's just that type of good music and good songwriting makes us want to write cool stuff as well.
People have referenced everything before. I think just because the way our vocals are arranged, like sometimes they're quite busy, and they're always super, almost like nursery rhyme kind of hooks, and they do a lot of that, which we started writing, and then they turned up and we were like, this is awesome. It's just packaged up very differently. They're a straight up pop band, but they're a pop band for the nerds. Do you know what I mean? Like for the geeks, so that we love them. But yeah, like Dillinger Escape Plan, I've always loved. System of a Down growing up, and like we've got a lot of collective favourite bands. Like Propagandy, they're a really good one as well. And I think, like Lewis said, they're not direct influences for the band, but it's kind of, we listen to everything, and you'll find what you like in music in any genre if you just kind of open your ears to it. So we literally listen to everything.
Let's talk about your latest album, Here's to Fatigue. The writing process, did you all take a part for it, or how did you wrote the songs?
Yeah, it was normally like the conception comes with a riff or something that Luke will bring to the table. We'll kind of jam it in our rehearsal space, and then we'll get something rough that feels good. Maybe Luke will go home, put a structure down, put some rough vocals on, send it over. I do all the lyrics, so stuff will change, and maybe I'll be like, yeah, I like this, or I don't like this, and then we'll go back and forth on what we do and don't like. And it just, that's how it kind of, it starts from here, goes to here. Different points, it might change drastically, or something will stay quite how we originally intended. Yeah,
I think it's with this band, it's very much, no matter how much is done in that first, 75% or 60%, like it's always, once we get in a room and the three of us are all chipping in, and it's that last 15-20% that really is when it starts to sound like this. And we've tried so many different ways of approaching stuff, and we've just found that it always ends up sounding like us because it is us writing it. Do you know what I mean?
There have been some songs where we started writing it and thinking, oh, this is a bit different for us.
Yeah.
And maybe you're a bit, I don't know, apprehensive. But then you get to the end of it and you're like, that was stupid, because it always just sounds like us, like whatever we do. And that's true of a lot of people, where it's like your input on it will mould it and change it. So
I think that's true as well, just because I think there's a lot of our guitar riffs or vocal lines that you could literally just take on their own, and it could be a completely different band, but it's like everything together, it sounds one way or another. And there's a lot of bands like that where you could be fooled in thinking they're a completely different band by one little bit of a song, or a song that's not typically like them. But I guess that's just being in a band, eh?
I'm in a state, here's to a lack of all control and sanity. Here's to the fatigue, burning the heat of a summer's day. We're flocking home again for nurturing. The June remains an adverse reaction to change. To change. Close your eyes. Dead and dying dreams, crushing everything.
When you went to the studio, were there any changes to the songs? Like, did the producer give any hints and tips and do this and try that? And
you're always in such a creative space in the studio. It's kind of, that's bound to happen a lot
I think
of the time.
having a producer in the studio as well, like in pre-production, is great because they have a different slant and a view on the band, and like what you think sounds maybe cheesy, they'll be like, no, that's great, and whatever you think sounds really great, they might be like, they're not sure about that. So it just gives another perspective, another band member, and he really fit in there as another band member, definitely.
Yeah, I think again, props to Machine, just because I think in this band's history, he's been the most perfect match for us as as a band artistically and perhaps as people, you know, to work with in the studio. Like he's just a ball of energy, and you know, like perhaps, and that's so important because by the time you get to pre-production, you've probably ran this song like 20 times or 100 times, do you know what I mean? And it's like you might be starting to get sick of it, and he comes in and he's just like, he'll make you love your own song again that you're kind of getting tired of, and be like, this is awesome, like you need this, you need more of this, but this is awesome, stick with it. And like Adam said, it's like it's so important to have an outside perspective that you trust with an album, because you know, unless you're like the best songwriter, unless you're ABBA or Queen, who just are amazing and can write songs, but it's like you need that extra person that can say, this is where this song is really strong, this is the selling point of that song, this is what people are going to shout back. Because sometimes you get so lost in it being creative, you lose your way a bit sometimes, and it's so important to find that person you trust to kind of guide you a bit, you know, and realise those songs. There's 10 songs on the album, and we had 10 songs.
So there's nothing left for a second one.
Machine was quite worried about that going in as well, because that's not normally how bands work. But I think our manager was just like, trust that they'll bring good stuff, and that, you know, and that's how we kind of feel a lot of the time anyway. It's like we do put everything into each song we do. So, and also if a song is kind of, we're not feeling it's very strong to start with, it will either transform quite a bit or we will scrap it. So we don't come to the board with a lot of songs because we spend a lot of time on those songs. So yeah. But maybe next time we'll write 50.
That's a promise.
Yeah, no, it's not a promise.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
About touring, you've been playing, you know, at big festivals like Download Festival.
Yeah. I mean, we're quite lucky in the UK. I think we're quite spoilt. You know, I mean, we had Download, and we got Reading and Leeds, and we used to have Sonosphere, which is a great festival as well. But on the metal side, you know, you've got like Bloodstock and all these other festivals. You know, the UK is a great place for festivals. And yeah, we love doing festivals. There's a really good one back home, not that far from us, called 2000 Trees Festival. It's just like a melting pot for like the scene that we sit in back home. So it's like, you know, you literally turn up and within 30 seconds you've seen 10 people you know, or 3-4 bands you've toured with, and it's such a good festival, and it's got such a like family community vibe to it. And you know, we can't big up that festival enough. You know, if anyone wants to come over to the UK for something a bit different that's not like the Download or the Reading and Leeds, you know, and they want just good rock music, then 2000 Trees is awesome.
A lot of festivals, they're kind of bittersweet because it's always a bit of a rush setting up. You never get a very good sound check, but once you get on stage, it's a lot of fun because there's always a really good vibe, a really good energy. And yeah, a lot of times, you know, we've met people at our own headline gigs, and they come and say, "Oh, I saw you at 2000 Trees last year. I saw you at Download last year." So it's just when you're making a lot of noise and maybe someone likes what they're hearing, they go, "Ah, I'll go see what's happening in there."
What a lovely day. What a lovely day. I'm in a state. Here's to a lack of all control and sanity. Here's to the fatigue. Oh, what a waste. We drank the poison in the sun to end the pain. Here's to the fatigue.
What do you think about this European tour? It's a first for you, and you're playing with quite a big US band, Shinedown. So is it a great chance for you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we were, this year it was our goal to get to Europe no matter what, so we were going to figure out a way to do it. But the reason it took us so long is just because, you know, logistically for a band that's, you know, kind of our level, it's quite a financial hit sometimes, and you need to make sure you're doing all these hours and all these miles for shows that you're actually going to hopefully progress the band with. You know, there's so many stories of bands going to Europe and mainland Europe, and vice versa, bands coming to England and playing to like 2 people, and it's like, it's cool to do, you know, it's a cool life thing, but we're here to progress and we're here to make new fans and meet new people, and that's kind of what I think why we took our time, and we always were just waiting for the right thing to do. And then this, you know, Shinedown heard our songs and were kind enough to invite us on, and it was just like, this is the right time. And I'm almost glad we hadn't gone before, because we could have had a bad time and come back, or it could have been alright, but this is like, we're going out on a proper tour, we're going to play to some people and play with some really cool bands. So
Last question: what's the band you'd like to see live? It can be, you know, retired band, dead band, or a live band.
I think I'd like to see Nirvana. Yeah, I think that would just be the best thing. But Nirvana in their prime, in like a dingy little venue. Yeah. The walls are sweating. Do you know what I mean? That would just be so cool.
I just want to see Simon and Garfunkel in Central Park, you know. That, or like early Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
as they were blowing up.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Mine's always Thin Lizzy. Get Phil Lynott back. He's one of my favourite bass players. He sings as well. One of my idols. I think seeing them in their heyday would have been the best thing ever.
Thanks, guys, for coming to our show, and thanks for coming to Finland, rocking our asses off. We wish you all the best. Hope to see you again here in Finland.
Thanks very much, man. Thank you for watching. Check out his